trying to see if I have a bruise from my wisdom tooth surgery, and I tried to cover it up, and I think I did. I'm just trying to see if you can see it or not. Anyway, hello. I have a book buying problem, and I told myself I was gonna stop, but then recently something stressful happened in my life, and I bought like 30 to 40 books. Which is a big issue, and I'm not going to pretend that it's not. And we can discuss that in the comments if you really want, but I'm not going to get into it here. I'm just going to start showing you the books that I bought. So the book that got all of this started is Against Erasure. Can you see the whole thing? No. It's called Against Erasure. This is a photographic memory of Palestine before the Nakba. So this is like a photo book of pictures of Palestine before the Nakba. I really love photo books, but I don't have many of them. And I've always wanted more, so as soon as I saw one about Palestine, I just knew that I had to get it. This is also from Haymarket, which is a smaller publisher that I really love, and so I wanted to support them. And so after I bought this book, that's when I bought all the books around me on the ground, which you can't see, but I promise they're there. So this was book number 1, but I'm really excited about this book. I want to own more photo books. I want more books about Palestine, so this was just the perfect intersection of both of those things. What next? Also from Haymarket, I got Shell Shocked: On the Ground Under Israel's Gaza Assault. So this is like eyewitness accounts of what living in Gaza is like. This happened obviously before the more recent acts of genocide. I think this took place in 2014. Yeah, so 10 years ago. That's how, okay, let's just not talk about that. Again, like I said, I want to read more about Palestine. I thought like eyewitness accounts was the perfect thing to pick up. Oh my god, these books. And then the last book I got from Haymarket is Angela Davis's Freedom is a Constant Struggle, Ferguson, Palestine, and the Foundations of a Movement. I think the title is pretty self-explanatory here. This is a book that has been on my radar for a long time, and I've been seeing more people pick it up with the recent happenings in Palestine. So I hope you can't hear the sound of construction outside my window. I'm sorry if you can. It's out of my control. I live in a city. But anyway, this is another one I'm really excited about. It's also pretty short, so I have like no excuse not to pick this up. Then I did an order at Barnes & Noble. You can definitely hear that. I'm so sorry. Where are my Barnes & Noble books? First book I got from Barnes & Noble is Joan Didion's The Year of Magical Thinking. This is a book that she wrote after her husband and her daughter died, and it deals a lot about grief. I'm not going through anything involving grief in my life right now, but for some reason I just thought this would be very helpful to read. I don't know why. I'm sure it's gonna be beautiful though. Like, Joan Didion obviously knows how to write. The understatement of the century. I'm excited about picking this up. I've heard such great things about it. You're gonna notice a theme for basically all the rest of these books, and that's that I do not know much about them because I was just blindly purchasing books because I have a consumerism issue. So I'm sorry about that, but let's just head on. Let's keep going. Next book is I Am, 17 Brushes with Death. This is a memoir that talks about 17 brushes with death. It sounded really interesting to me. This one has been on my Goodreads, like TBR, for ages, and I finally decided to pick it up because I want some more memoirs. I love memoirs. If you have any suggestions, please leave them down below because I really just want to read more of them. Then I picked up a book I've been seeing everywhere online, and that is Monstrilio. I only have a very small idea of what this book is about. The back says that after her son dies, the mother carves out a small piece of his lung to save her herself, which is a totally normal reaction. She nurtures the lung until it gains sentience. Growing into the carnivorous little Monstrilio she keeps hidden within the walls of her decaying childhood home in Mexico City. That's as much as I'm going to read there. That's all I want to know. I've heard that this book is like delightfully weird, and I love weird books. Another thing I would love some recommendations on if you have any, because I've noticed that like if it's a super weird book, I'm just automatically going to love it. So had to pick this one up. This is a book I know nothing about. All's Well by Mona Awad. I picked this up because I read Bunny recently, talking about weird books, and I loved Bunny, and now I want to read everything that Mona Awad has written. I actually really wanted to pick up Rouge, but it's only in hardcover right now, so it's like kind of expensive, so I just satisfied myself with this one for now, but I'm sure it's gonna be great. Then I got 2 more books from Barnes & Noble, the first of which is The Invention Morale. This book I don't know much about. I shouldn't even say that at this point because you didn't just take that as a given. I've seen this book recommended online, and I've specifically seen books from this publisher where it's like a background picture and this little like square. Like, they all look the same. If you know what I'm talking about, you understand. And I've understood that this publisher takes a lot of like translated works and like lesser known literary classics, which just sounds right up my alley. I want to be reading more translated fiction, another thing I would love some recommendations for down below. I promise I'll stop saying that now. And this one, when it was described to me, it just sounded weird, so I picked it up. And the last book I got from Barnes & Noble is Boy Parts by Eliza Clark. This is another one that I've just seen online forever. It's supposed to be horror. There's something about like this girl who takes photographs of boys. That's all I know. I've heard a lot about Eliza Clark though, and I've heard a lot about Eliza Clark from like the girlies on TikTok that seem like they are into really cool literary stuff, if that makes sense, like cool girl books. I could do another version of my reading cool girl books videos, so if you're interested in that, let me know. I think that would be fun. But this is another book that I've seen recommended by those same types of girlies, so I had to pick it up. And then the rest of these books come from an absolutely massive book outlet order. I just went on Book Outlet and I had everything to my cart that I even somewhat recognized. And we don't need to analyze that right now. We don't need to think about that. Let's just get started. This is the one I was most excited about from Book Outlet. Bright Young Woman. This is a retelling of the Ted Bundy murders, but it never talks about Ted Bundy, it just focuses on his victims. I feel like I've seen this in everyone's like favorite books of 2023 video, so as soon as I saw it on Book Outlet, I felt like I had to get it. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I think this is gonna be at the top of my TBR soon. Then what did I get? I also got There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. This is a YA horror. I don't really read YA anymore, but I did pick this up because Stephanie Perkins was known for her like YA romance books like Anna and the French Kiss and Lola and the something something something. Lolo, is that the name or was it something else? I don't even remember anymore. But I remember when she first came out of this being so intrigued that she was like releasing like a slasher novel. And I've always wanted to read it, and it was on Book Outlet for like $3, so I probably won't be keeping this on my shelves forever, but I wanted to read it and give it a shot. Lovely noises happening outside my window. Next I'll talk about some of the like sci-fi classics I got, because I got a few of those. The first two are Ursula K. Le Guin's Worlds of Exile and Illusion, and Ursula K. Le Guin's The Wind's 12 Quarters and The Compass Rose. I believe this one is 2 different books. Oh, these 2 collections bring together some of her finest short fiction. I didn't know that. Okay, so this is her short fiction. I'm not typically a short story person, but I will pick up short stories for Ursula Le Guin because I just love her. Is this the one that's a combination of 2 books? This is 3 novels, so I wasn't right about either of these in any way. Really is what it's coming down to. Again, I want to read everything Ursula Le Guin's written though, so I saw these. I also like these like classic sci-fi editions, the Masterworks editions. I think they're fun, so I had to pick them up. I didn't have to, but I did. And then the other 2 classic sci-fi that I got are both Philip K. Dick, and those are Martian Time Slip and Ubik. I don't know about either of these. I've read one Philip K. Dick novel. I read, what's it called? The Man in the High Castle, like years and years ago, and I loved it. And I think I have it in this edition too, because these both match. I remember just really loving it and wanting to read more by him, but I've never picked up any more. And with my recent love of like Ursula Le Guin and Octavia Butler, it's made me really want to pick up some more sci-fi. So I thought I'd give these a chance. This one's funny. I know nothing about this book. It's called Wilder Girls. They told us to wait and stay alive, so what this little tagline says. I'm not going to read the back. I'm going to read the back. It started slow. First the teachers died one by one. Then the talks began to infect the students, turning their bodies strange and foreign. Now, cut off from the rest of the world and left to fend for themselves on their island home, the girls of the Raxter School don't dare wander outside the surrounding fence to where the talks has made the woods wild and dangerous. That actually sounds very interesting. I knew nothing about this book when I bought it. I bought it because it was like $2, and I've seen the cover before, and I liked the cover. I was not making good decisions. I'm not going to justify that. Then I picked up The Mothers. This is another one that I know nothing about, but I've seen it online, so I bought it. That's all I'm gonna say. After that, we've got The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois, a novel. What is this about? I don't know what this is about. What I do know is that I really like W.E.B. Du Bois. Like, I've read some of his scholarship while I was an undergrad. What was it called? Yeah, the issue of like double consciousness. I have his book on Philadelphia on my shelf. I don't remember the full name, like Black Philadelphian or something, I don't know. So I really like his like scholarly work, and when this book first came out, like I wanted to get it just instantly. because I think it like involves some of his work but like in a story format. Not making any sense today. I didn't realize how beefy this book was gonna be, but that makes me more excited because I love beefy books. This one's funny. I picked up The Writing Retreat. I picked this one up because I was seeing it everywhere, and then I realized afterwards I was seeing it everywhere because everyone was disliking it. But I do like the cover, and I believe it's like a thriller, and I haven't read many thrillers, but I want to get more into the genre. Again, like if you have any recommendations, please leave them down below. I said I'd stop saying that, but that's the last time, I swear. So I thought I'd give it a shot. That's all that I made this decision based off of. Olga Dies Dreaming, a novel. I know nothing about this. I've seen it online many different times. I know it's like Latinx representation. That's all I know. I should be ashamed of myself, to be honest. This one I know a little bit about. This is Scythe. This book, from what I know, takes place in a world where like they've conquered death, so no one's dying anymore. So there are these people called scythes that have to go around and like physically kill people to control like the population. This is a fantasy that I've seen mentioned so many different times, and I've seen it really loved by people, and I've always meant to pick it up. So when I saw it on Book Outlet, I just had to get it. This one is a little bit more justified than like all the others, so at least I have that. After that, I picked up Outlawed. This is another book that I pretty much just bought based off of the cover. Like I've also seen this one around, and I feel like I've seen praise for it online, but I really just picked it up because I recognized the cover. I'm not proud of myself, okay? I'm just getting more and more ashamed as I make this video. Like, why did I do this? And honestly, my bookshelves are full right now. I don't have room for any of these books. So I really just have to read as much as I can to make some room, I guess. As if I'm not already reading as much as I can. It's fine. Next is Venko. This is a book about, like, the Salem witches, or like something involving witches and something involving Salem. I picked this book up because the author, I believe, is Indigenous, and I haven't read by many Indigenous authors, and it's definitely like an area of my reading that I need to expand into a bit. So I like witches, and I wanted to read more diversely, so here I am. Then we have Ghost. This book, I actually read the little flap before I started the video, so let's see how much I remember. This book I mainly picked up because of the cover and the name. From what I understand, it's like a rom-com, and it follows this main character who gets ghosted by this guy on like a dating app, and then like she has to reconcile with like how much of a mess her life is, which seems very relevant to my life right now. I actually didn't know it was a rom-com when I picked it up. I probably wouldn't have picked it up if I knew it was a rom-com, but I can't say I'm into romance. I actually think I might do a video where I like read the most popular book talk romances, because I'm just such an anti-romance girly for the most part. Let me know if you want to see that. We'll see if I like this or not. I will read it. I will read it. Then we have My Heart is a Chainsaw. What I know about this is that it's a slasher book, and I'm really into horror right now. I want to read more horror. That's all I know. I thought I saw something about this author also being Indigenous, but it doesn't say anything about that on this book cover, so I'm not gonna... Don't take my word for that at all. Just don't believe anything I say. Then we have Mame. This is another book that I know nothing about, but I've seen it online a few times, and I liked the cover, so I bought it. I hate myself. Evil Eye. This book, what I know, it's by, I think it's by a Palestinian author. It certainly follows a Palestinian main character, and there's this idea that like a curse has been placed on her family or something like that. I think this was in the running for like best fiction for the Goodreads Source Awards this year. But I've seen it online a lot. I've wanted to pick it up for a while. We're down to our final three. She Who Became the Sun. The back of this book just says it reimagines the rise to power of the Ming Dynasty's founding emperor. It also says that it's queer. All I know is that Reagan from Proust Project, I'm pretty sure she's the one I remember this from. I think she's read this book and really liked it, so I like fantasy, so I picked it up. Then we have Godkiller. My understanding of this book is that it takes place in a world where they like turned against the gods, so they hired these people to kill the gods, and our main character is like a god killer. Again, like I love fantasy, and I haven't picked up fantasy for a while, and I keep buying it, so I think like I bought this fantasy to remind myself to pick up some fantasy. Like maybe if it's a newer fantasy release, I'll be more likely to pick it up. I don't know. And then the last book is what I'm most excited about, and that is Minor Detail. I have seen this book everywhere online, and honestly, like as soon as the stuff in Palestine started happening and I started researching books about Palestine to read, I came across this book, but it was sold out everywhere and I couldn't find it, and I finally was able to find it on Barnes & Noble. It's restocked now. So this book, from my understanding, follows two different timelines. One is like right after the Nakba, and it follows this young girl who was raped and then killed by Israeli soldiers. and then it follows a girl like 25 years in the future who finds out about this minor detail in a report and slowly becomes like obsessed with it. I don't know. Like I said, I want to read more about Palestine. I want to read more diversely. This book just fits everything I want to read about. I'm like convinced I'm going to love this book. So if I don't, it's going to be a big letdown, but I think I will. So there you go. Those are all the books that I bought instead of going to therapy. I'm not proud of myself. Please do not shame me. I'm embarrassed. Goodbye.